Hello everyone! My name is Rabbit and welcome back to more Let's Play Star Ocean, the second story, our bonus section. So for today's videos, and yes my friends, I did say videos as in more than one, it is plural, because I had originally entertained the idea of combining both floors 11 as well as 12 into one episode for the Cave of Trials, that is. I mean, obviously, right? Well, I decided to go ahead and not do that just so that you still can see them segmented into separate videos, but I do want to let you know that floor 11 is going to be very short, and this will all make sense once we enter the floor together, and you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about when I say that floors 11 and 12 almost go together, but still not quite. Anyway, we'll just put that aside and address that here in just a moment. But something else that I do want to talk to you guys about, let me pull it up. So, I want to give a humongous shout out as well as lots of cyber hugs to the wonderful lady known as Sarah Dale. Thank you so much for your email. Basically, Sarah had contacted me after hearing me bitch about how expensive the items were at Santa's secret shop here in the Cave of Trials. She reminded me, she's like, hey Rabbit, remember Identify All? You basically had talked about this before when you were explaining how there are ways of making things cheaper, and I really have no excuse for why I've forgotten about this. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I just want to let you see the description, although I'm pretty sure I have shown this to you before. Let me just do so again. So basically, it's a super specialty command that uses everyone's powers to identify and appraise the value of items correctly. So you can receive a discount on items if you are purchasing something, or you can raise the price of items if you are selling something. So I know it's a little bit late to give you this pro tip, especially for those of you who first were frustrated by the price of things at the secret shop, or I guess you could also call it the fake gallery back on Energy Need. But in case you are watching this playthrough slash walkthrough before you undertake the game yourself, this is something you should absolutely keep in mind. So this is a great way to basically get discounts on things. So if you do want to buy like a bunch of tri-emblems for your entire party, this is an absolutely wonderful way of lowering the cost of some of the things that Santa is carrying, and again, some of the items that you will find at the fake gallery slash secret shop. So, okay, I think that is it for announcements. Again, thank you so much, Sarah Dale, for reminding me that I needed to talk about that, and I needed to actually use it because I spent way too much money on the shit that I ended up buying. But nevertheless, we will do as we always do and part ways right here, my lovelies. And when I see you shortly, we will be at the end of floor 10 and ready to tackle floor 11 together. So give me just a moment. All right, guys, welcome back. So I am at the very end of floor 10 as promised, but before we go ahead and dive down into floor 11, I do want to take a quick second, not only to show you my level so that you can kind of gauge where you're at compared to me, but also to show you the equipment that I have for everybody so far. So none of this should really come as too much of a surprise to you. I've talked about quite a few of these items that you are seeing on everyone, but I want to give you a moment to just check this out. I guess I should let you see the actual stats for these items, and then I will explain why it is important that we are prepared before we head on down to level 11. And then we've talked about the tri-emblems plenty, of course. And I've got a Misty symbol. Not the greatest thing in the world, but... And then here's what Claude has equipped. Nothing really too special here. Here's Ernest. Shouldn't be too many surprises on this either. And last but certainly not least, we have Opera's page here. Now, I'm sure most of you, after taking a minute to look these over as I've been scrolling through, you're probably going to immediately notice that nobody has on bunny shoes anymore. I think the bunny shoes are really fun and they help having that extra speed when facing certain enemies, but for level 11 and what we're going to face as soon as we enter that floor, I think it's best to just drop the bunny shoes and give people and by people I mean your party, of course, something that's going to actually increase their defenses. So that is why everyone has on something better, like Valiant boots, which are the best boots you're going to get. So you may at this point want to even go ahead and just leave the Valiant boots on your boys and your Valkyrie boots on Opera or Chisato or, you know, whichever female you are sporting. And then I decided to go ahead and add the tri-emblems on everyone, just because I like the stats boost that you see. Like if I just have it on none, you can see the decrease that Claude would face by just removing this item. So I think tri-emblems are great, and for sure if you're going for a more cautious or defensive play style, having everyone have 2 tri-emblems equipped for both slots of your accessories, I think that's a viable option. So don't feel pressured to go all out offensive. I'm going for something a little bit more well-rounded here. Okay, but have I spent enough time talking about this? I think so. So with all of the equipment and the levels being accounted for, what I actually want to speak to you about is what we're going to be facing as soon as we enter level 11 of the Cave of Trials. So there is actually going to be a boss fight waiting for us, and the prize is okay. It is something that we've been waiting for quite a while, but we'll look at that as soon as we kick that boss's ass. So the reason why I wanted to spend a while talking about equipment is because there are 2 options for you in terms of one of the best ways of surviving this boss we're going to face. This boss can deal status ailments to you, so it is within your best interest to possibly equip a stone check on everyone in your party or a few people in your party that you're particularly concerned about. If you've been following along with me and you have the fortune equipped on somebody, you should be like me and have 20 stone checks. I swear these things drop almost every 5 steps that your party members take. So you should have an abundance of these unless you just sell them every time you exit the Cave of Trials. But even still, between levels 1 and here on floor 10, just to run from one to the other, you should have at least 3, if not 4. So that is option number 1, having those equipped on everyone. Option number 2 is when we do enter. Where are you before I start talking about this? Okay, so option number 2 is when you do enter this battle, you can have your party members use care tablets. Just to read the description, when used during combat, this magical medicine protects the user from many things, with status ailments being one of them. There's no additional message, but that is okay because I'm going to give you the scoop here. So if you want to make these, you can actually do so via compounding, and it's best to combine 2 Artemis sleeves. I don't know if I'll be successful since I'm not playing Hail the Goddess, which you know is my crafting secret, if you will, or technique, but I'll see what we can get. I just want to demonstrate this for you. This is going to be a pretty short episode anyway, so I don't feel too bad spending a while sharing this information and these tips with you. I might be throwing away my Artemis leaves here, which it is looking like. We'll try one more time. I just wanted to show this to you. Come on, Opera. No more water. Can we get it? No. She is not feeling like it. And honestly, I should have just played Hail the Goddess. Here, I really want to show you. I'm just all full of information, you guys. Okay, so round 2 of trying to get this freaking cure tablet, or care tablet, that is. Okay, immediately upon playing Hail the Goddess, here we go. There's a care tablet. And I guess we might as well just combine shit, right? Not that it matters, but while I'm playing Hail the Goddess, might as well take advantage of the success rate. And like I've said so many times throughout this Let's Play, there are so many items, there's almost no way you can utilize all of them. It's just not going to happen unless you make it a mission to do so. Alright, and then here we go. A violence pill. So after spending all this time talking to you about strategies, let's actually head on down and see if we can be successful. So here we are, level 11 of the Cave of Trials, also known as Dragon's Nest. Let's I guess, not have the boss fight. Let's start out by fighting these douchebags. But yes, can you see how slow we are? We're so slow. Actually, let me just show you by running with Leon. This is one of the reasons why I like the bunny shoes, because getting that spook beast is so fantastic. Without the bunny shoes, you basically feel like you're crawling, but you shouldn't, because we ran like this throughout most of the game before we ever even had bunny shoes. But once you've had them on for a while and then you take them off, you really feel their absence. So anyway, here we go. Claude says, a dragon? Underground? Dragon Tyrant responds, you have come far to reach this place. Is it strength and only strength that you seek? If so, you cannot avoid combat with me. I don't know why he needed to put the emphasis on me, but I will. Alright, so this guy, I am going to start off by using one of my care tablets. And let me buff my teammates. I don't think it's really that necessary. Outside of the status effects, your team should be okay as long as your levels are comparable to mine and your equipment is comparable to mine. Basically, I feel like I say this all the time. If you've been following along with me and mostly been making the choices that I've been making, this is not going to be a fight that is going to devastate your experience with the Cave of Trials. Dragon's Nest is pretty straightforward. I think the big issue and what tends to catch people off guard is not necessarily knowing who can turn you to stone, who can paralyze you, who can poison you. And at this point in the game, those are the biggest issues, in my opinion. I mean, you have plenty of ways to heal yourself, you have plenty of ways to buff your stats, but it's hard to sometimes make the choice between using an accessory slot for something like a stone check or using an item like the care tablet. And a lot of people don't even know about the care tablet, so it's for sure just a strategy or a tactic that I do like to share. I think the care tablets are great. I don't always use them, but when I do, I am glad I have. And I'm one of those people that I try to be efficient, and I just don't like using one of my two accessory slots for an item that keeps me from taking a status effect that I could easily avoid with a care tablet. So that's kind of my mentality behind it. And yeah, this guy's dead. So I pretty much just spent the entirety of this buffing my teammates, and they did the rest. And we got a Valiant Guard. But that is not the prize that I mentioned to you guys that we've been waiting for a very long time. But you shall see very shortly what it is that I've been referencing. So the Dragon Tyrant says, sometimes strength is the worst weakness. Remember this on your journey. Thank you, Penis Monster, and dun-da-da-da! We learned the skill Float. So here it is, you guys. Finally, on floor 11 of the Cave of Trials, we have acquired the missing skill called Float. And I'm sure many of you are elated just from the fact that we've completed our skill collection, but don't get too overjoyed because, in my opinion, Float is not so great. So just to read what it says here, it is a combat skill, obviously it is green. The ability to knock the enemy up into the air with normal attacks. Yeah, it's, in my opinion, pretty bad. I feel like it's the worst skill that you have. Some people may argue that Flip is worse than Float, but honestly, they're both pretty bad. So at this point, once I have all of them, I usually just turn them off by hitting the box button. So by doing this, as you can see, it grays them out, and this just means that they won't be utilized at all in battle. So it's up to you if you want to have them on or off. I will leave it on for now so you can see it in a battle or two. But after that, for sure, when we're taking on some of the optional bosses, I will not be using Float, and I will not be using Flip. I don't think they're good. They're interesting, but they are not good. So, before we go ahead and end this episode, which I told you is pretty brief, we can come over here to this door, known as the portal of the warrior, and all it says is leave. You are not worthy of passing through this portal. So initially when you see this, you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell? Why can't I go through this door? And this comes back to what I was saying earlier about why I feel floors 11 and floors 12 kind of coincide together. But again, we'll look at that in a little bit when we wrap up. God, I'm doing like no damage. And Leon is so slow. I can barely stand it, you guys. This is just painful. So let me just run as far away from all of the noise and all of the bullshit as possible. And hopefully my teammates can... Oh, Jesus. Guys, do I really need to buff you here so that you can take this thing out? It's looking that way. Well, that's okay. I don't mind. It gives Leon something to do. Am I right? All right. So we will take this portal... exit, save, and then we will re-enter, and you will see what it is we need to do. And that is where we will actually end today's episode. Or I shouldn't say today's episode, because like I said, I will be recording 2 videos because I think these 2 floors complement each other. And I don't want to just end like this. It's kind of a cliffhanger. Alright, so there are the skill points that we lost. Bumping up float a little bit. So let's run over here to the portal and escape. Although we're not really escaping so much as we are just trying to figure out what do we need to do. Basically, our team is going to regroup. Okay, so let's head outside. You guys already know my drill. I will save with you on camera, alternating as usual. And then let's just head straight on in. And this weird prompt comes up that says, shall we 2 go alone? We're going to say yes. And basically, you pick your partner. And I'm going to choose Opera to come along with Claude. Be careful, says Noelle. Come back alive now, chimes in Celine. And Claude wraps up their bullshit by saying, we're off. I'll show them what I'm made of, contributes Opera. And that is where we will go ahead and end this episode. So I know this is a really weird point, but like I mentioned, this is what you have to do. And then when we come back together in our next episode, we will be back on floor 11, which, as I've already shown you guys, is also known as Dragon's Nest. And then we will be able to enter floor 12 together. So I will see you in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I am your host, Rabbit. This is my bonus section of my Let's Play of Star Ocean, the second story. So thank you, and I will see you very shortly.